I like making music, and I have to remind myself of that. Like when it gets too much, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Like there are so many easier career paths. Like what am I doing to myself?
For sure.
Actually, it is like, take it back a step. Like it is about the music, and it should be fun, hopefully.
Welcome to the Musician Secrets podcast. I'm so excited to have singer-songwriter Emily Parish with me from the UK. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I love your album, right? It's not an EP, it's an album. How I Feel Now.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's so good. It's so dreamy and just so laid back and just chill. It feels like when you listen to it, you're kind of like floating and you can just let go. And
that's so nice. That's kind of the perfect vibe I wanted to go for. So yeah, dreamy, chilled. That's good.
Perfect. You nailed it, right? That's how I felt. Yeah.
Thank you. That's really kind.
You know, I just love to just listen to music, like really listen. Like I don't do it while I'm, especially if it's like new stuff, I don't do it while I'm like doing chores or, you know, doing, like I just want to like,
oh, that's good. Give it your all.
Yeah, because I want to like respect the art and want to like experience the music and not just like something that's running in the background.
Much appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, when someone really listens to it. Yeah. I mean, don't pick it apart too much, but thank you.
No, that's not what I mean. It's just like the overall.
Oh, I wouldn't have done that.
No, but I mean, just like the overall first impression is, I just like to, you know, experience really for the first time and be like, oh, that's so good.
Thank you.
So for people that don't know you, just give us a rundown of, you know, who you are, what got you into songwriting, and all of that.
Okay, so I'm 24, currently living in London. I've been in Norwich for the past 5 years, kind of trying to build a music platform there. And then I moved to London with my boyfriend and with a couple of friends, and I'm just trying to build up some more music experience here, reach a new audience. My album that I've just released is the 4th release I've got, which is really cool. And I'm just loving making music. I would have loved to have done some festivals this year, but I'm sure a lot of people are in the same situation. But I'm just enjoying being a musician and taking it slow and recuperating after 2020 is going to be a part of that. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
For sure. So what got you interested into songwriting?
Music has always been quite a big part of my family. My sister and my mum are very musical. My dad tries to be. Yeah, my sister's got a way better voice, and she's far more talented than I am. She did a music degree. She's got like a operatic style, very classical music sounding voice, and she does flute and piano and all that. And then we kind of did that growing up. So I actually started playing violin when I was 7. Thankfully stopped because I was really bad. I thought I was okay at the time, but I don't think I was. And the violin, you know, you've got to get it right, otherwise it's very screechy. But I did piano as well, and then moved on to guitar. And I think just singing has always been something fun, and I realised I wasn't really terrible at that. It was a lot better than the violin. So I moved into singer-songwriting. I don't really know how, it just kind of happened. It's merged.
Yeah. So when did you write your first song?
I think it's probably about 5 years ago. Well, serious song. I remember writing a few when I was really young. I don't know if you've ever seen the live action Peter Pan. It's got Jason Isaacs playing Captain Hook, and I think the dad. And I wrote a song about that. Wow. I think I was about 7 years old, if that. So that's the first song I fully remember.
Wow, that's really young. That's
really young. I can't remember how old the film is. It was a terrible song, but you know.
You gotta start somewhere. Give yourself some credit. I mean, the first song I wrote was, you know, crap too, but you know, it's just gotta come out.
It's gotta come out. Those 7-year-old emotions to get out somewhere. That and like fake X Factor auditions. That really built up my childhood singing. Probably about 5 years ago, seriously, and then just kind of spiraled from there.
Mm-hmm. So what inspires you when you're writing? Do you have a certain writing style, or would you say it just kind of is inspirational? Can you sit down and write a song? Like, what does that look like?
I'm gonna be really bad at answering this question.
There's
for
no
me, songwriting. I know. I don't know. It comes and it goes. Like 1 minute, I'm constantly writing, and I'll have like 4 ideas in a week, and then it'll be genuinely about 5 months before I write again. And then putting music to the songs as well. It's so sporadic. Like, there's no rhyme or reason at all. Like sometimes they'll just mesh together really well, and other times I cannot think of any chords or beat that I want to go with it. I've got like a very vague idea, and then suddenly it will come together, but it will be in about a year's time. So I have no advice.
Better late than never.
Yeah, I mean, inspiration wise, I write about romance quite a lot, and like very like intimate things, I think.
Yeah.
I'd love to write a song just very casual. It doesn't come to me that easily. It's got to be very intense or nothing, apparently. Yeah, I think it started with Breakup, and as much as that sucked at the time, it actually inspired me to keep going, and kind of, I guess, had an emotional songwriting awakening with it. So yeah, I do draw on like personal emotion quite a lot.
I mean, I think it has to have such a strong like you have to be in a state where it has to just come out. Like the emotions are so strong that you cannot not write a song.
Exactly. And I think that's a good feeling. Like if you are so affected by something that you have to write music about it, it's obviously an important thing.
Yeah, so it's either a breakup or whatnot, like whatever that thing is that just pushes you over the edge.
Yeah. For me, I think it's a lot more sad things than happy things. Like I've been in a relationship for a long time, very happy, but still like sad music is, I don't know, it's just so much easier to write sad songs. How do people write happy songs? I don't know.
I mean, it depends. Like for me in the beginning when I started out, they were mostly sad songs as well. And then like kind of transitioning or trying to just transition to more like happier stuff. But I mean, it's depends on the artist. Like you have a lot, like Adele is very, you know.
Exactly. And Adele and I are like this.
Yeah.
We're just the same person.
Exactly. So I don't think there's anything wrong about having a specific like niche or genre that you fall into.
Yeah, I quite like that as well. Sorry, this is completely changing the subject, but that's like one of the reasons I wanted to go into more alt poppy kind of stuff was because I don't really like being categorized as one genre. I mean, I probably am. I'm never going to go into punk because that's just not my thing. I don't think I write it very well, and like no one wants to listen to that. But I don't want to be confined to one genre, like folky, poppy. Like let's explore. I mean, I suppose they're all quite linked, at least similarly. But yeah, there's no point sticking to one genre. Just be more exciting and adventurous.
Yeah. You just do it like Taylor Swift. You start with country, then you go into pop, now you go into folk.
Another twin of mine, you know. Unfortunately, I can't pop out 2 albums in 1 year, but you know, maybe next time.
Say like Taylor Swift is like putting out music. I'm like, what? New album.
She's got nothing else to do, you know. Can't draw. Let's write another album.
I think it's awesome that she now like owns her music. I don't think that a lot of people or other musicians as well, they don't really understand that most of the songs that you hear on the radio, like 99%, they don't own the rights to their own songs.
No. I think that's a really important issue.
Yeah.
I definitely need to read up more on it, because I like half of the struggles that like artists go through are to do with ownership, and to be honest, that's something that terrifies me. I don't think, like, a part of me doesn't want to get signed. Like, obviously you get more awareness and there's a bigger audience listening to you, but I don't want to be dictated about what I can and can't create. Like, it's my music, it's the art that I want to put out there. And I think it was a good, like, 4 years ago now, but when Taylor Swift was speaking out about how little artists get paid on Spotify, people were saying, you know, you're a millionaire, why do you care? But actually, she's not just doing it for herself, it's for all musicians. And, you know, those of us that have only just got paid for 4 years of work, like, it's not right. And I fully respect her as an artist. I think she's great.
Same. I mean, she's an amazing songwriter. That's one of the main reasons I just love keeping up with her, because she doesn't just fit in one category, like you said. Like, there's so many.
She can do it all.
She can do it all. And I mean, just how she writes songs and the entire aspect, but then also as a human being, like, sticking up for artists that can't or don't have that power that she has, right? And it's that was so cool when Lover came out. She said, "This is my first album I fully own."
It's a big thing, and people, you as a listener, you don't fully realize it, but as an artist, like, yes, this is mine to create and own and mold and grow and develop. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Even if you've written the song and you've been part of the entire production and everything, you still don't own it.
No.
And a lot of people don't know that. I'm like, they don't own the song. Like, they might have the performance rights for it, but they don't actually, like, own it. And I thought it was so fascinating, because I think Lover is, like, her 7th album,
something like that. She's on so many.
Yeah, it's her 7th or 8th album, but it's the first one she really owns. And, like, imagine how many songs she's written.
Exactly. And they're not hers.
And they're not hers.
Yeah. It's eye-opening, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just an own issue in itself. But I think a lot of people and musicians are not aware of that. No,
for sure. It's definitely something, like, bit of taboo in the music industry, is how much, like, record labels, yes, can further your career, but they can also take away a lot of your rights as a musician. I'm not quite at that level. No, you know, I'm not being headhunted just yet. But it's something to come. Thank you. You just gotta keep an eye out, I guess. Find the right people that want to make music with you, not for them.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, the cool thing is there are more, like, labels popping out that are also, like, their own thing, so they support artists as well. And you have a lot, like Macklemore is an independent artist. There are artists out there that are independent, but, you know, it's just a billion times harder.
I think isn't Chance the Rapper, they're independent. I think their head of marketing is, like, one of his best friends or something like that. And like, that's kind of the way to go. Although I've got to then be able to pay that friend.
Yeah. But I mean,
they need a livelihood too.
I mean, it's all marketing. It doesn't matter how you do it. And I think a lot of musicians don't think of marketing. They don't see themselves as a business. Like, that was a huge. After I was done with my music degree, I'm like, okay, now what? Like, I'm a musician, but how do I make money? Like, they don't teach you how to actually make money with your music, and they don't teach you how to market. And so the last 2 years I've been just learning about marketing in general.
It's a really smart thing to do. I don't know what I'm doing.
No, but I mean, that's what I think would be my biggest advice for anyone that's, like, making music right now, is, like, learn how to market. Because you can make the best music in the world, but if you don't know how to market, no one will hear it. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, some things that I wish I did differently when I released the album is like pitching to Spotify. I didn't even know that was a thing until a week before it was due to come out.
Oh,
and I think that like really hindered my chances. And actually getting on a Spotify playlist is such a big thing. Like, if you're not on it, then you're so under the radar, and they've got this release the radar. But to be honest, that reaches like 5 of the people that follow me. And just, you don't realize how important social media is. And I have a sort of a love-hate relationship with it. You know, we all love it, but we hate to love it. We should hate it. And I think now that it's just taken over our lives, but unfortunately it's something that we have to adapt to and utilize properly to actually get anywhere. It's so important. And oh my god, like the algorithms, like they really test you. Like, I think this week, like I've read something, if your followers don't linger enough or like flick through all your photos on one post, then actually that doesn't really count as engagement. So like if they don't look through all of them, then it's not going to show up on other people's feeds. Like a like doesn't really do anything anymore. It needs to be like 4+ words on a comment, blah blah blah. Like you really have to know your stuff with it. And then actually asking your followers to do all of that is so tedious and straining, and then you feel like such a little lech being like, please like it, please do more than like like every single post you have to like, share, save, comment, blah blah blah. You know, hold on to it for at least 10 seconds. And Instagram runs our lives. It does.
Personally, I couldn't care less about it. I'm like the worst when it comes to like Instagram. I didn't post for like a year on Instagram, and I was like barely on it. And now since I'm with the podcast, I'm like, oh my god, I have to go on Instagram and post every day. Like that's the only reason I'm on there and posting, is just for like the podcast and for my music, and that's it.
I think when I view it as more of a business tool than a personal aspect of my life, like, but my page is personal as well. Again, because apparently people like seeing a personal side of you, and it helps, blah blah. But actually, I stopped hating it so much when it became more of a business outlook, because I realized I'm doing this to further my career and not just for popularity reasons. But at the same time, if you want to do well, it takes a lot of effort and time, and then you realize that you're staring at your phone all day, not really doing the music side of things, and it's not as fun. But unfortunately, it is a bit like, it is important. It just depends how much you want that to be a part of your music.
Exactly.
But I mean, the podcasts are very cool, so I think you've ticked a lot of boxes there. Like, hats off that you don't let it ruin your life. It's good stuff.
I try. It's just, I'm just one of those people that, I don't know, social media is just not my, I wish I could pay someone to do it for me. Like,
that's
I
the
could
next step.
one thing. Like, as soon as I, if I start making a little bit more money, that's the first thing I'm gonna go and give to someone else.
I need someone with like a dedication to it, and like I'll go for like 3 days, and I'm always like posting something, trying to be really on it, and then I'm like, I don't want to stare at this all day.
Exactly.
I don't want to count how many likes I've got in the last 10 minutes. Like, I don't need this hassle. A social media manager is definitely one of my next steps. I think I'm gonna get one of my friends that really likes it to do it. But have to think of some incentives.
If they enjoy it, you'd be like, go and knock yourself
have my
out.
passwords. yeah. I mean, I've got nothing to hide, so I can give out a password to my friends. Like nothing's gonna happen. Yeah.
It's the business account anyway. Like my private account is a different thing.
Separate.
Be like, go and just do whatever. I'll see it anyway, so it's not like
I'll follow myself.
But I mean that's a whole new world. I just don't really want to learn. And
it's so daunting. Social media.
Exactly. So with how I feel now, how did that come together? Like, it just feels so cohesive and well put together, and the production is like it's the same or very similar. Like, what was the story behind like the process and everything?
So the songwriting kind of process was I like writing in consecutive order, and actually that makes it really difficult to put together. So it's kind of the second part. So my first EP was getting over a breakup, or not really, just being really sad. This one is kind of, 2-3 years on, how I feel now. I struggled so much to name it, so I was like, right, this is how I'm feeling, that's what it's going to be called.
That's cool.
I didn't know what to call it. Honestly, that was the hardest part of the whole thing. It just came together. It was just so many things I've been wanting to say for such a long time, and I realised this is how I express how I'm feeling. I can talk quite a lot, but I like talking about my feelings through song, which sounds so lame, but it's true. And I guess it's like my own little therapy session, and I just get it all out. And thank you for saying it's cohesive, because I thought it was a bit of like stuff thrown in anywhere. Like some of it's relationships, some of it's how I feel really lazy and complacent, and one of it's just about like how rubbish I think everything going on in the world is.
The last track.
yeah, really, really happy stuff. I actually wrote that when Trump got elected, so luckily it's come back around. I know. But yeah, I think what mainly brought it together was the production. I worked with the same guy, and it was just me and him producing it together, recording, and he helped mix it all. He did it all, basically. I like to take some credit, but he is the genius behind putting it on the track. So it's a lot of our similar styles, and just collaborative work to make it all fit together.
We talked a little bit about that production aspect of it. Can you just, because I didn't record it, just repeat how the production process looked like, and how do you find the right producer, and how do you communicate what you want and the sound to be like?
So his name's Tom Joy. I found him through friends who were in a band. They were a friend of a friend, really great people. And it's all about networking, and just don't be afraid to ask people questions when you don't know what you're doing, because that's the majority of my life. So I said, who did you create this great track with? And they gave me his name. We just got together a little bit. Luckily, I managed to record a little bit before March with the first lockdown in the UK. And then we worked on it online through a couple of different websites and platforms, and then got together again after the first lockdown for us. But I think I just got lucky with finding him. I knew he had worked with inexperienced and independent musicians before, which really helped me, because I didn't want to be with someone that was like, right, get all this sorted and then bring it together and like we'll work on it then. I wanted someone to help walk me through it, because I didn't know all the ins and outs, and I still don't. And I relied on him quite a lot for the technical side of things. But it was just really, I stayed with him because he was so easy to work with and really understanding when I was like, what's that? I don't know. Or me changing my mind and saying, no, I don't like that hi-hat, even though I just added it 10 minutes ago. It's just someone that's patient with you and wants to work with you and not dictate, and be happy when you change your mind constantly. So yeah, it's definitely about putting your own artwork out there and not having someone else being able to change it and manipulate it all. It's still a part of you that you're projecting through your music. And I think that's the most important part for me, finding someone that you can collaborate with in a good way. And that's one of the reasons why I'll probably go back and record with him again.
That's really cool. When you reach out to them, what do you say? Do you be like, hey, I have this idea, or I'm working on an album, or do you send them a demo of like your first song or all of these songs, or what is like?
I think you can do it both ways. I don't have any recording equipment at home other than like my phone and a performance mic. I think I probably could have sent him a demo. A lot, again, back to social media, a lot of the time if you link, say if you send someone an email, something that I always do is send them a link to my Spotify artist page, or a song if you want to get a review, or your media accounts, and then they can just click on it. It's so easy, it's hyperlinked, just click on it and see a little bit about you, and if they want to work with you as well. I think actually I just got given his number by the person that had already recorded with him, and I just said, this is the kind of music I want to create. Do you think we can work together? And actually it was just a really positive relationship. On a more professional level, I'd say maybe email is the best way to get in contact. Maybe not in like Instagram DMs, but then some people really like that, just being like quick and easy, like, hi, I like what you create, this is what I want to make, let's make something together, non-sexual. But like but yeah, all about like professional but fun relationships. Sorry. Yeah, it just depends what kind of vibe that they are. I think if I went with someone who because he's just a one person company, if I maybe wanted to go someone a little more highbrow, then I probably would have emailed. And I think like in the past you can send like CDs in, or they have like submission pages. But usually people are pretty casual about it. They just want like the easiest way to get to know you as a musician.
So it's basically through networking. I think that's always a good way. Just talk to people, just talk to musicians, just ask them.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. I mean, it makes me feel like I know something that's going on with music when someone's like, oh, can I have your advice on something? And even if, you know, it's not the whole answer, it's still something. I really relied on a friend, the friend of the friend who knew that band. He was like my rock in music decisions and getting myself out there when I created my first EP. So yeah, I have no shame. If I need help, I'll ask, because I'm not a proud person. And also, what's the point? Like, it doesn't get you anywhere. I'm not going to help myself by being like, no, I don't want to ask for help. I ask for help. It's important.
That's smart. That's I think it's smart. Like, if there's a music video you like, or a song you like, and you're like, hey, who produced this, or who did you work with, who did you collab with, who made the music video, like, if you have questions, just ask.
Yeah. And like, if someone doesn't want to give you the answer, then they'll just say no. There's nothing worse that they can say. Like, they say, oh, I'm sorry, like, that's a really personal project, blah blah blah. Like, I mean, you'd be a bit like, you can just give me a name, but you know, I mean, no one's done that anyway. So but yeah, it is about networking, and you don't have to know people at the top. Like, work your way up, like, meet other musicians, chat to people online safely, and just, you know, meet new people, make new friends.
Totally.
For
That's
example.
what I'm doing. This podcast is nothing else but networking with people I've never met before.
Exactly. What can be more fun?
Yeah, but I love it. Like, I enjoy it so much because I get to network with so many musicians, and it's so cool to just talk with people and be like, hey, how did this album come together? How did the music video like happen, and who produced it, and who, you know, that's all I'm doing is really just
no, it's definitely, I'm all for supporting other people. I try not to compare myself to other people. It obviously happens, but actually by talking to people and networking with them and getting their experiences, you also gain so much insight. There are a couple of people that were doing like more than me, and I decided I'm not going to let this make me feel bad. I'm going to use what they're doing to help guide me in my future steps. And it's led to so many opportunities, actually, just within like small festivals, and then just finding new people to play with. Like, collaborating on actual music is something that I want to do next. COVID, you know, allowing for that. But yeah, you've got to use who you know. It doesn't matter who you know, as long as like you can use what they know. So that's a lot of no's.
Yeah.
Supporting other musicians and collaborating with them, I'd say, is undeniably important.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
It's a give and take, you know,
Exactly.
I think if you're contacting someone, don't be someone that's that leech that kind of sucks everything. Oh, and like, take, like, make sure you can like help and serve the person as well. And, you know, I think there are also skills that you know how to do, but someone else does, and then someone else does and you don't. Like, you can, there's always, definitely, you know, in the beginning I'm like, what what do I know? Like, what can I give? And you know, and they're you know, but I can write songs. I'm good at writing songs, but I'm really bad at the production side. Like I know the basics to like record a demo and send a producer and be like, okay, this is what I'm kind of going.
You're doing better than me.
but you know, I mean, but that's it. Like, you know, but you know, everyone has their kind of strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, exactly.
If you just play off of those, then that's great.
Every door is open.
Yeah, for sure.
And try and make the most of every opportunity. Even if it scares you, that's why I say is the biggest thing. And then just making friends, because what's the point of, you know, music enemies? What's that? Who wants that? I don't want that.
Yeah,
I think I've made that up, but I don't want it.
I think the cool thing about like music, I don't really see other musicians as competitors, because it's not like a phone. Like if I go and I want to get a phone, you can only use one phone. So obviously like Samsung and Sony and Apple, they're all competitors because they all want you to buy their phone. But the cool thing is with music, you can listen to as many artists as you want. You can listen to as much music as you want to. Like there is no limit to be like, oh, you can only listen to 10 artists and that's it. Like that's the cool thing. Even within the same genre, you can never listen to enough music. I'm always looking for new music. I'm looking for new artists because I get sick of my stuff. Right? So, I mean, that's a cool thing.
Yeah, that's such a good way of looking at it. Yeah, definitely. And also, if people had to listen to the same 10 artists, we'd all be listening to like really famous people, and no one like us would get anywhere. So, yeah, and you would be bored. Definitely. Yeah, it's not a competition. It's about creating music and hopefully finding people that want to listen to it. So.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I've never seen anyone really as a competitor, more as like, oh, friends, I can learn from them and we can collaborate and do that. And your ideas, and then I have an idea, and then it kind of happens and comes together, and
that's what music should be about. Like, you cut off so many opportunities by not wanting to work with people and not wanting to do this kind of thing, and that's just so boring.
You know what, I think what I really love about Ed Sheeran is he collaborates with so many artists. Like, he has an entire album out where he just collaborates. Every song is a collaboration with somebody, and there's so many songs out there that are not even on his album where he collaborated with other artists where they have it on their album. And I think, I mean, this is just me, this is my theory, is that's what made him so successful so fast, is because he just literally was just writing for other people constantly, not just for him and having other people on his stuff, but also like being on their album. So everyone knows Ed Sheeran because he's like, whoever you listen to, he's on their album, right? So it's like, you can't even, it's so hard to like ignore
his music is practically our new national anthem, so you can't escape Ed Sheeran. He's a smart guy.
Collaborating is so smart.
Yeah, and even if he's not doing it just to get his name out of there, like, he's just doing it because this is what he loves to do, and actually it is a smart thing.
I mean, it's a double whammy. It's like it's a win-win. Like, it's, you know, he loves doing it, and he also gets to, you know, whatever album you listen to, there's an Ed Sheeran collaboration on there.
You'll find him.
That's just my theory, but it's never wrong.
Yeah, I mean, collaborations is something I definitely want to work on. That's kind of the advice I've been given as like a next step to grow your audience, is to write songs with other people. But obviously COVID again kind of getting in the way, but it won't be here forever. So hopefully 2021, we'll say it again, is like the year for me.
a great time actually, because nobody's like touring and like on weekends out and on gigs, so actually this would be like a great time because everyone's
if I got my act together, it would be a good time to do stuff.
I mean, that's why I'm like
it's Christmas now, like I don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, it's lockdown, it's okay to be rubbish. It is okay to do nothing some days, but I feel like, you know, I've wasted my year a bit. But I put out an album, like,
nothing wrong with it. Yeah.
Another thing, don't be too hard on yourself. Like, it's all about what you can do for yourself. So,
yeah. How do you pick the orders of the song? Like, what makes you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9?
I don't know if I have a method. I was actually really picky about that. I think it also determines how well the song does. Like, the first track is called Sweeter, and I actually released that as the single a year ago. And it's my favorite, so I knew I wanted it to be like in my top like 4 tracks. But actually it's kind of the one that's, it would have been like the title track of the album. It's like the one that's kind of taken off, so I knew I wanted to put that first, because it usually gets, like, if people, again, going back to how easy they want to be able to click on something, if they click on your artist page, click on your album, like, it's the first one there, bam, that's the first one they're probably going to listen to. So I would say actually putting your favorite song like first, second or third is quite important, or the one that you want people to listen to the most. As for that, I kind of like, again, I try to make it as consecutive as possible, but sometimes I like having songs that don't sound too similar, too close together. For example, like I've got about 3-4 really slow tracks. I didn't want them to all sit together. So I tried to break them up a bit, you know. It's like, oh, it's the little sad cry bit in the middle. But other than that, I think I just like, I don't know, just played around, see how they all flow. I sometimes think that actually if you listen to the beginning and end of the song and then onto the next track and the beginning of that one, like they fit together like as a flow through the album. But I quite often listen to albums on shuffle, so it makes no difference. But yeah, that's kind of just how I put it together anyway. But yeah, that bit actually took me quite a lot of time to figure out, but once I had it, like I knew I was happy with it. It's just personal preference, I think.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, I like to ask a question because it's different with every artist. Everyone's like, oh, I go for dynamics, and the other one's no more for the storytelling. Someone else is like, you know, how, like, the only answer I don't get is that it's random. No, ever.
I'd love to be able to be like, yeah, throw them down on a page and wherever they stick, I'll put them. But no, there's actually quite a lot of, like, it's such a simple thing. Like, what order do I want to put all of these songs? Like, they're all going to get listened to. But actually, there's a lot of thinking that goes into it. Yeah, I think the storytelling was the main bit, but also breaking up the sad songs, because you don't want people to cry the whole way through the album. Maybe.
That's a good
it's something I'm trying to move away from. Yeah. The next one's gonna be 50% happy. 40.
Yeah. Well, you know, just step by step, you know, it's not
exactly it's a process
for sure. Yeah, so how does it, because like I said, they all kind of go together really well. How do you decide the sound? Do you make sure, like, okay, this is me, this sounds like me, this doesn't? Like, how do you because that's kind of what I struggle with, is like, how, first of all, do you find your sound, and then how do you pick the instruments to be in there, or what, you know, or not to be in it?
I don't think I've found my sound yet, and I think once I realized that, I got a lot of comfort from it, because when I first started songwriting, I was just your very standard, like, I have an acoustic guitar and I'll sing some slow covers for you, and I still enjoy that, like, there's nothing wrong with that, but I knew I wanted to progress a bit, and actually this album has helped me do that. It's moved on to like a wider variety of instruments. But I think I listen to a lot of different genres. Like, I really like indie rock still, but I don't think I write very well in that capacity. So actually I started listening to more artists that I thought I wanted to sound like, and that worked for me. Like, I wouldn't say mirror yourself to another artist, and if you want to sound like someone else, like, you don't have to force it, but if that is what you want from your music eventually, like, sometimes that's the way to go. Like, it is an educational experience as well. So there's an artist who's also British, her stage name is called Iola, spelled Iola. I really like her stuff. I actually saw her when she was going by her actual name, Shannon Saunders, when I was 16, and she was a support act for someone, and I wish I had the courage to go up to her and say hi, because I think she's so cool. But I've kind of just stuck with her career a little bit throughout that. I really like what she creates, and then I was like, this is kind of my inspiration. So it's not about taking her music, but it's just about like getting inspiration from someone else. Like I think she was probably the main inspiration on my album. And like finding your sound, I don't know, like it'd be really nice to say, yes, like this is my zen moment where I know what I want to sound like. But actually I think that it comes and it goes, and there's always going to be some tracks that you're happier with than others. But I kind of like the fact that maybe I haven't found my sound yet, so like I'm not stuck now, like I'm still going, like I'm still looking for it, and sometimes the pursuit of it is more exciting than having it.
That's interesting. I've never thought about it that way. I was like stressing myself.
I'll probably change my mind tomorrow. Like, no, I want to know. What is it? Yeah, I think it keeps you on your toes a bit more. Like, I don't know, like, and it makes things more fun. I think if I knew how, like, if I wanted to be confined to pop, then, you know, okay, maybe like there's a little bit of weight off your mind. Like, okay, I found my genre. I found like my zone where I work best. But actually, this way you get to dabble in other things a bit more.
That's cool. I think
I hope that's the answer you're looking for.
A lot of no. It actually was helpful, because that's where I'm kind of like stressing myself out a bit. Is like, you know, who am I? Like, what do I sound like? Right? And it's you know, I think that just took the pressure off of me of being like, you know what?
I hope so. Yeah, we put so much pressure on ourselves, and like we're doing this because we want to create art and like extend yourself out there into the universe or whatever. And like if it's gonna be pressurized, like, and it is at times, but like the music making and the pure substance of it, I don't think should be stressful. You should enjoy it. And I mean, again, everyone has their bad days. But I like making music, and I have to remind myself of that. Like when it gets too much, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Like there are so many easier career paths. Like what am I doing to myself? Actually, it is like, take it back a step. Like it is about the music, and it should be fun, hopefully.
That's so cool. What's your favorite part about songwriting or the music in general?
I'm sure I'll think of a different answer tomorrow, but I think for me, one of the songs, again, on my new album, is called When Did the Girl Get to You? And it's something that I wanted to say, but I literally could not put into words until 5 years after it happened. So it's kind of a release of emotion, and I feel like in a song, you don't have to explain yourself to anyone else. It's about your pure emotion that you feel. And if anyone's like, oh, you know, why have you said that? It's like, it's in a song. It's like you can't change it. It's in a song now. Like in a conversation, like, oh, that sounds like, you can feel really stupid saying something, but you're like, well, I've put that into music, so it's out there for the whole world to hear. But yeah, that was just a really poignant experience for me, finally being able to say something that I felt I just pent up and not known how to express. Like that is something that I really love about songwriting.
That's cool. That's a good answer.
I mean, it's also fun. We'll go with that too. It is fun. And yeah, it's, I don't know, it's just something you can say about yourself when, like for me, I'd much rather go and sing to 100 people than go and talk to 100 people. Like giving a speech is terrifying. And like I still get scared performing, but actually it just clicks more. Like, yeah, clicks.
Yeah. What was the hardest part of making the album?
Oh, that's a difficult one. I guess this one, like many artists producing in 2020, we had to move online for a bit. Recording went on pause for like 5 months. But actually, I think the writing beforehand took about 2 years. And that was partly because I was finishing up my degree, and partly because, again, like, it takes me 5 months to get a song out. So I think just sticking with it can often be the hardest part. Like, you and I both have other jobs. Like, this is not our full-time occupation. Life gets in the way. You have other things that are more important. Like, I put my own funds towards it, so when I run out of money, like, obviously music's got to go on hold. Luckily it's not been that bad, but it's just, sticking with it and reminding yourself that this is something that you want to create and you want to produce and you want to be proud of when you finish it. And I think in like the aftermath of it, remembering that at the moment what I'm going through is like a plateau of listeners, and you've got to remember that that's natural. Unfortunately, like, the hype around a new release is really big and then it falls away quite a lot. So just keeping going before, middle and after, to be honest, is the stamina in you.
Embrace it all.
And just, I think, remember that you're going to have some days when everything clicks into place and you get people messaging you being like, oh, it's amazing, I love it, and you're like, thank you so much. Yes, I love your validation and your kind words, they mean a lot. And other days realizing that nothing new is going to come out of things and you're going to, just feel completely run down. Oh, I've got low battery, sorry, it's gone blank.
That's okay.
But it's finding the balance in between the two.
It's been a real pleasure just talking to you and just getting to know you a bit better in your music. And I just have so much respect for just musicians that are just out there and putting themselves out there and their music out there, and especially in 2020 because it's been tough and hard. So, I just want to appreciate artists, especially that, are pushing through and got through 2020 and, say like, I'm just going to make the best out of it. I'm going to make it happen some way or another. And if it looks a little bit differently, so be it. That's totally fine. I just want to appreciate you for that.
Yeah, it's nice to know that someone else is going through the same things and struggling the same things as you. So thank you.
Yeah, no, it's really the more artists I talk to, they all have pretty much the same problems. They have, it's not, we think we're always the only ones that are struggling with this issue, and it's not. That's why the more just network with other musicians, talk with them, and just be like, hey, how did you do that? How did you solve this? And that, and you'll find out that they have the same struggles, the same fears, the same, highs, the same lows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're all so similar and struggling in the same things. We just need to help each other out a bit.
Yeah, for sure. So, so thank you. I just want to thank you for being you and putting out music and being brave and doing it anyway and just following up your
life. Anyway. Don't care what people think.
It's pretty cool. So, my last question would be, what advice would you give yourself? Like, you're bringing out your first single, you're bringing out or album or EP or whatnot. What advice would you give that little Emily?
A lot comes to mind, and yet like no one significant thing. Something that I wish I'd done more with my first album was explore new sounds, but at the same time I kind of liked the fact that it was so pure and kind of innocent in a way, and I just didn't really know what I was doing. In that sense, not knowing what you're doing, I did not know how to market it at all. I think even still, it's only had like 300 people listen, not even people, 300 like minutes on it, nothing. So just trying to figure out how to utilize the tools that we have, again, back to social media, back to networking. But something that I did do is I wrote that music for me, so I kind of don't regret that at all. And I think with the first album or single or whatever, it's so significant. Like, it doesn't matter how small it is, it's a part of you that you've put out there, that your first music that you've created, enjoy it and like relish in that. Like it's by far my worst music. I've definitely progressed since then, but actually it's something that I'm really proud of still. So just, yeah, I think it doesn't matter the quality. Well, I mean, don't make it rubbish if you can, but if the quality's not the best, like, you know, you're gonna get better and you're gonna have more experience the next time. And actually, if it is your first track, enjoy the moment, because you'll never have that one again. And it's the same with everything, that you just enjoy it and remember why you're creating music and why you got into this.
That's pretty good advice. Yeah. I think every album or single or EP is like a screenshot of that moment.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I wish I can then look back and be like, oh, okay, I could have done this better or whatnot, because that means I've progressed, right? I've grown.
Exactly.
If I would go back and be like, the first song I wrote and be like, oh, it's pretty much the same, I'd be shocked, because I'm like, I didn't learn anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, so it's actually a good thing if you know, can look back and be like, oh, you know, right, I would have done this differently in the production, or I would have mixed it
definitely,
or I would have.
Yeah, I mean, some of the production.
Or
actually, I've thought of another thing. Some of the production I didn't like, and I was too afraid to say anything. Like, you put like a really weird echo on all of like my singing throughout the whole 4 track, so I didn't want it, and I didn't say anything. So that's like, why did I do that? I mean, I was 19 years old. Like, have some backbone. Yeah. So yeah, again, back to production. Don't let yourself get like railroaded and taken over, because it is your music.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. Like, everyone, listen to Emily's new album, or new, like, it's when did you release it?
Just over 2 months ago, actually. Yeah.
Okay, so it is
16th of October. It's still quite new. It's new to me.
Okay. Yeah. How I Feel is out, I mean, anywhere. So I found
platforms that I've not even heard of. Yeah.
I mean, I had no trouble finding it on Spotify and iTunes. So I'm pretty sure it's everywhere else.
Yeah.
Everywhere else as well.
It's everywhere.
It's getting hard for me now. Oh my god. So where can people follow you? Going back to social media.
Yeah. Again, I am most active on Instagram and Twitter. My handle is @em_parish. I'm also on Facebook, but if you want to message me, don't do it on there, because I won't reply.
Same.
Other than that, I don't think I'm on anything else.
Yeah. I think that's
go for Instagram.
Yeah. Okay. Then I'll link everything up as well, so people will have no trouble finding you and your music. Definitely. Yeah. Check out your music is just really cool, and it's very like I said, like very dreamy, really chill vibe, and but also like very more serious topics. Definitely in there, and then more lighthearted ones. So it's I think it's a really good blend.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just yeah. Yeah. I can't wait to hear more of you and your song.
I can't either. I need some new stuff. I don't know what's coming next. Yeah. Thanks. That's really kind. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. No, it's been an absolute pleasure having you and just talking to you and learning. Like, with every interview, I learn something new, and I love it. Thank you so much for taking the time, and yeah, just keep going and hang in there.
Yeah,
you're doing
hang in there.
a good job. Yeah, we all are.
Yeah, the best advice.
Hang in there. Thank you for listening to the Musician's Secrets podcast. I'm your host, Alise Koa. I hope you got to learn something new about producing or songwriting or mental health when it comes to making music, the fears that most musicians have when making music. So everything that's behind the scenes, behind making music, you will learn it here, because I am basically talking to
anyone that makes music all around the world. So I have a great privilege to learn all of that, and I can't wait to share it with you all. So follow this podcast if you enjoyed what you heard today, and go and share it with somebody that you think could enjoy this episode as well, benefit and learn from it. And as always, there's more information at alisekoa.com/podcast. Talk to you soon. Bye.